Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
All right, guys, today's show is brought to you from my company, Playline.com. Of course, there's a big fight this weekend. Israel Adesanya taking on Robert Whittaker for the middleweight title. Do you know who's going to win this fight? Have you got an idea who's going to win this fight? Well, all you got to do is go to the App Store or go to Playline.com. Go to the App Store, download the app, Playline.com, and predict two stats. Who's going to win and how many strikes are they going to land? If you can get that right, $5,000 in your pocket. Once again, go to Playline.com. Give them a follow on Instagram at Playline, at the App Store, Playline. Either way, go to Playline, predict who wins this fight and how many strikes they're going to land, and you win $5,000. You're welcome. Let's start the show. Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Oh, shit, baby boys. We're back. Michael Bisping, Luis J. Gomez. What's up?
I felt like you were going to say something else there. Like you said, what's up? And then stopped. Hold on. I sort of turned one thing off. I as we know on this show now, and I now come through the hard line. But you got to turn the Wi-Fi off, otherwise the hard line is useless. I'm good, Lewis. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Believe You Me, everybody. What's going on, Lewis? I know yesterday we put out on Twitter a big announcement. We're going to have 3 guests on, and the show didn't happen yesterday due to technical difficulties. So apologies. We are going to have Jared Cannonier on in a little bit. Cub Swanson is going to come on next week. And Margie Casey just decided not to stop answering text messages, which I don't blame him. He's just had a fight. He's just won. He's celebrating. You know, he just beat Groovy Orlando Vanata. So
he's booked to be on the show yesterday. He takes out the time from his day. I'm sure he's trying to celebrate, trying to have the biggest win of his career. And then look at this. We just cancel on him. We try to reschedule. Honestly, I would never talk to you again if I was him.
Well, I would never talk to you. It wasn't me. I was there singing and dancing, bells on, whistles on, ready to rock, sat in the studio in LA, right? Don't say never talk to me. Never talk to you. Never talk to you.
I was here too.
Never talk to Brian. Never talk to Harrington. Okay? Somebody's to blame. Somebody's to blame, and it's not me. So don't throw that evil on me, Luis J. Gomez.
Michael, can you say, because I said this to Brian yesterday, when I called you, what did I say? Whose fault did I say it was?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I said, Michael Bisping, this is my fault.
Oh.
Nobody else is to blame. I took complete responsibility. I was like, I should have made sure that everything was pre-set up. We should have retested. And
it's okay. These things happen. It's all good. We had good intentions. It didn't work out, but next time, it'll all be good. It'll all be good, baby boy. What's the word I'm looking for? It's No, what do you call it? Not a learning curve, although it is a learning curve. Trial and error. And error. There you go. Trial and error, baby boy.
That is true. I mean, if you consider the amount of time it took us to even be able to do just this, you know what? It's fine. I'll be back in town next week in Los Angeles, so we'll be doing one in person for sure next Monday night, which is very exciting. Also going to be doing Kill Tony. If you guys are in the LA area, you want to come hang out at the Comedy Store next Monday night, the 7th. Going to be a lot of fun. What's going on with you, dude? How's your day been?
Well,
how's the life without having Callum around?
Yeah, life without Callum around is very quiet. But, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke on the podcast, because you just asked me how I'm doing. A couple of weeks ago, we spoke on the podcast about me possibly needing a knee replacement. That is going ahead October 17th. Now, a lot of the believers, very kind of them to say this, a lot of people messaged me via Instagram, Twitter, whatever, right? A lot of messages, even on the YouTube section, the comment section, a lot of people very kindly suggesting that I try stem cells. Mike, don't do the knee replacement, try stem cells and all the rest of it. And that is definitely an option. And when you say this to me, Lewis, I say this to you. Now, when you say this to me, how's it going? What am I doing? This afternoon, I go and get stem cells in my good knee, right? My good knee has degenerative arthritis that has caused my meniscus to tear. So the stem cells that these people are talking about, and they are very kindly recommending, I'm using them this afternoon for my good knee, but my bad knee, that's gone. Stem cells aren't going to help that.
There's no stem cells. Because that's what I saw that a lot. A lot of people were like, dude, talk to Rogan. Rogan's got a friend in South America, okay? And it's the best stem cell guy in the world. Who the fuck has a stem cell guy, by the way? He just has a stem cell guy. That's where Rogan's at in his fucking life. But that was a suggestion for everybody. And in my mind, I'm going like, I don't want to. I'm sure you've gone through all these options in your head, but why wouldn't that help?
Oh, no. No. I'm just diving in at the deep end. I haven't looked at it. I haven't explored it. I haven't spoken to multiple doctors. I haven't had second, even third opinions. I'm just going to say, you know what? Cut me open. Give me a 15-inch incision and remove my knee and replace it with metal. Oh, yeah. Haven't tried anything else. I haven't had multiple operations. I haven't had fat taken from my stomach and injected in there. I haven't had 5 or 6 cleanups. I haven't had, you name it, bone marrow, stem cell, PRP. Done it all. No, but I do appreciate people's concerns. It's very kind of them.
I love how like you got multiple doctors' opinions, and then MMA fan 6969 says, "Have you tried stem cells?"
I'm like, oh my God, stem cell. Jesus Christ. Hold on. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I was very touched by the concern of everybody. I'm not mocking them, but I am mocking them a little bit. Yeah. So the stem cells I'm having on my good knee, which is a sad state of affairs. When I was in Cape Town, my good knee started giving me problems. I thought I had a torn meniscus, and it is a torn meniscus, but that's from degenerative arthritis. But on October 17th, I have the full-on knee replacement. And later today, I have the stem cell on my good knee. So thank you for all your concern. That is what's happening. But yeah, Rogan just has a stem cell guy. Yeah. You know, I remember Dana tried to send me to Germany years ago for my neck and for my eye to see a stem cell guy. And I was going to go. He was going to pay for the treatment. They were going to fly me there. They were going to really take care of me. But it just involved going to Germany, and I couldn't be bothered. And I was in England when I lived in America. I was having a lot of fun. I'm like, really? I'm here for a few days. I'm catching up with old friends. I don't really want to go to Germany right now.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Mr. Bisping. That could have saved your career. You should have taken the opportunity. Dana White was going to fucking pay for it. You're going to have miracle regenerative surgery. I don't even know what stem cells do. What an idiot I am. I have not even the beginning of what stem cells are.
Yeah, me neither. I have no idea. So there's a doctor called Brian Plard that runs a company called Gentera Med. There you go, cheeky plug. And yeah, he'll be taking care of this stem cell business. But yeah, I don't know much about it. Not a doctor. I could do a preliminary Google search. I could prior to, this wasn't the plan to talk about this, but I could do a small Google search, do a little bit of research. But let's be honest. I'm still not going to really understand. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to med school. If the doctors that did go to med school that are trained surgeons that have been doing this a long time, they say it's good, then I'll take their word for it, Lewis.
Well, I do wish you the best of luck, Mr. Bisping. I think that's going to have to be the day of our fight, October 18th. The day after your surgery, you're going to be laid up in bed.
Doesn't surprise me one little bit. I mean, listen, if you, this is the guy that wants me to tie my hands behind my back. You're looking for any advantage possible. But we've talked about this long and hard. What I do want to talk about, though, did you see this evolving on Twitter last night? John Jones and one of his striking coaches, Frankie Lester. Did you see that? Did you see anything about this?
I saw nothing about this. What is this?
Yes, so if you bring it up, if somebody in the background, Brian, wants to bring it up, just Google John Jones on Twitter. It should be on there. So Frankie Lester, Frank the Tank Lester, was he was actually a contestant on The Ultimate Fighter I think it was on Dan Henderson's team back in the day, so I do know who he is. Apparently, he got, hired by John Jones to be striking coach. And then John Jones is now saying, Frankie Lester is saying, you haven't paid me. You owe me $13,000. And it's on site when I see you. Now, initially, my thoughts were this. Frank the Tank Lester didn't win the Ultimate Fighter. He had a couple of fights in the UFC and then he got cut. Nice to see that he's still making a living out of mixed martial arts. But the man to be threatening the greatest pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, not sure if that's a smart idea. Now, on the flip side, John Jones has come out, obviously declared his innocence, said, basically, I never ripped you off, said that Frank Lester saying that Jones was going to pay him $13,000. Hold on, here we are. Here it is. Yeah, anyway, Frank Lester's saying that John Jones owes him $13,000. John Jones is saying, you're crazy. Oh, here it is. After 3 different houses being screwed over by the best team in the world, Jackson Wink, and the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, John Jones, on over $13,000 on his last title fight, myself, my wife, and our children, Jordan, Braden, and baby on the way, Ira. It's 2 kids. Arya Stark. Look at that. Finally, I have a home big enough for all of us. Well, Jesus Christ, he's not doing bad. I have no regrets. I did my job, and everybody who was following my journey knows I did my job. John Jones and Mike Wilcombe John just did me dirtier than I have ever seen in this fight game. But good always prevails over evil, and we have a home big enough for all of us. Well, congrats. I will be opening Tank Martial Arts in the next 6 months, and we're going to take over the beautiful city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Karma is real. And John, it's on site with me and you know that. Anyway, he goes on to say that he stole from his family, things like that. Now, John Jones came out. He said, I haven't stolen from you. I don't owe you any money. And he said that he's called the police. He's called the police. He's called Albuquerque Police Department, PD, and told them that Frank Lester is making threats. How do you feel about this, Lewis? The baddest motherfucker on the world calling the cops because some guy that got cut from the UFC's saying he owes him money.
Frank, I gave you the opportunity of a lifetime. Everyone on the team knows that I would not agree to give you $20,000 for only your second training camp on my team. And if I did, I would have totally paid you that amount. Not once in 10 years have I ever gotten a complaint about not paying staff members. If anything, I'm always complimented for being people's highest paying client, blah, 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 blah. In a weird way, like
down there. Hold on. Tomorrow I will be calling APD and bringing our confrontation to their awareness. Honestly, I wish I had never got to know you, but I truly do wish you nothing but the best. Just leave me alone, bro, or see me in court.
Yeah.
There we go.
So this is a misunderstanding. Obviously, there's something there. It's not that I don't think that either one of them is lying, right? It sounds like there was some sort of miscommunication here. Somebody thought they were getting something that they weren't getting, and whatever. I mean, just for John Jones though, he's a multi-millionaire at this point. Would you just go, dude? All right, take it. Just get out of my camp, and I'll never talk. Like you almost pay him to go away, just because. But this guy's a 170-pounder. He lost his last fight to Adam Stroop 5 years ago. That was the last time we saw him at SLC Army versus Marine 6. I don't know that he would have the technical prowess to be able to take John Jones. But at the same time, street fight's different than an MMA fight, baby boy.
Yeah, and I think what he's talking about is a gun. I think that's what he's talking about. And that's what, yes, of course. Listen, Frank Lester's not going to take down John Jones without a gun. Simple as that. And I don't know if you know this. Guns are very prevalent in America. You guys have them everywhere.
Oh, boy.
We'll get into it because I know it's very divisive and
we love guns.
On this show.
We love guns.
I love guns. And in fact,
guns.
Today is the 2nd year anniversary of when 58 people got slaughtered in Las Vegas. Love guns. Love guns, of course. I think John Jones is just trying to take the moral high ground, and good for him because he can't be going out there making threats. He can't be out there getting into altercations with Frankie Lester, with ex-coaches. It's always weird in these situations because you don't really have contracts. You don't have contracts between your coach or between training partners. I remember Audie Attar, Paradigm Sports Management, when I first started working with Audie, and he very correctly said for all my coaches and all my training partners, and he was right to say this, he said, you got to draw up contracts, Mike. You got to draw up contracts for every training camp. And I never did. I chose not to do that. I'm like, that's not how it works in the fight game. Do you know what I mean? Right. In the business world, you enter a contract and you say, yeah, okay, I'll hire you for $10,000, $20,000, whatever it is. Here are my expectations. Here are your obligations, what you're expected to do, and blah, 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 blah. And you sign a contract. And you should do it that way. But in the fight game, if I went up there and I presented, like a Tuesday morning, I'm in the gym and there's Moses that I used to train with. Hey, Moses, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, just a little contract here I want you to sign. You know what I mean? I just always felt very uneasy doing that. And you're right. Audie Attar was right. You should do that. Anytime there's money involved, there should be contracts in place. But
without getting into your personal stuff, you've specifically had issues in the past with former training partners and legal issues. So your Audie was 100% right, without a doubt. But that's once you get to, I think, to a higher level. I think that's because you look at it as a martial artist and you sort of have this like romanticized version of what it is, where you're like, oh, these are my training partners and they're part of my camp, and it's like, you know, there's this like brotherhood there where it's like, baby boy, once money's involved, once it's people's livelihood, once egos get involved, once one guy hears one thing, then all of a sudden you're in a weird public freak out. Either way, I just would never go to social media to sort of air the grievances. If it was something like serious like that with somebody that I was working with, it's a conversation to have off of social media, which maybe they did a bunch and it just had to go there.
Yeah, well, definitely. You know, try to solve your problems via social media is never smart for anything. But the sad thing is, money is the root of all evil. It really fucking is. You really get to see people's character when money's involved. You know what I mean? They can be the nicest person in the world, right? Never done you wrong, you know, but when money comes involved, when money is a part of it, then you really see people's character, because people will fuck over the closest people to them for a small amount of money. It's absolutely insane. It really is. I mean, the lies I've seen people tell just to try and, you know, save a few quid, just to earn a few bucks. You know what I mean? It's insane. All right, guys, let's just take a quick second to talk about Blue Chew. We talk about it all the time. Listen, it's not for erectile dysfunction. It's just for a better experience in the bedroom, right? Whether it's with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is. We don't want to talk about genders. You know, there's a lot of genders out there. It doesn't matter whether it's a him, a her, it's a he, a there, a they, whatever it is. You want to give that person a better time. You want to enhance that pleasure. You know, you want to chew it and do it. Now, you don't have to go to the doctor. You can get those ingredients, you know, the ones that are in Viagra and Cialis, but you can get it without going to the doctor, Lewis. Tell the people.
All you got to do is go online. Simple questionnaire. 10 minutes later, you have a prescription, and it's being shipped right to your door in discreet packaging. This is the way you got to do it. I'm telling you right now, I use Blue Chew. It is. I look, I'm a Puerto Rican / Italian man from New York City. Believe me, I got a crazy high libido, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best way to do it. If I'm being real with you guys, let's say you've been in a relationship for a couple of years. You know, you get a little bored after a little while. 45 minutes before you go to the bedroom, take a Blue Chew. Let me tell you something. It's going to be like the first time you laid your eyes on this woman. You're going to make love to her better than you ever have in the past.
And you know what the good news is as well? You know that 45 minutes? That could be after you've eaten. Say you went out for a dinner. Let's say you don't have to be in a relationship for a few years. It could be your first date. You go out, you have a slap-up meal. You eat a lot of food. You're like, oh, God, I'm so full. I got to wait a little bit of time to let that settle down before I show her a good time.
Yeah.
Normally, Viagra and Cialis, you're like, I've got to wait for that food to disappear because on a full stomach, it won't work. Listen, you can take Blue Chew on a full or an empty stomach. Chew it and do it and show her a great time, or her a great time, or him a great time, or it a great time. Whoever it is, show him a good time, Lewis.
Hollywood SJW Bisping is really on a roll today. There's a movie or something in the works. I have no idea what's going on right now, but somebody's listening. I want you guys to realize that. But you guys can right now get in my opinion, the best deal on the internet. Free Blue Chew. If you go to bluechew.com, BLUE chew.com, and you get your first order free when you use the promo code BELIEVE. You just got to pay $5 shipping. $5 shipping, you're going to have the best sex of your life. Believe me, go do that right now. bluechew.com, use that promo code BELIEVE. All right, where were we?
All right, so obviously we had the big fights in Denmark at the weekend, and we have the main event, the victorious main event winner, Jared Cannonier, who very, very kindly was on standby yesterday, but as we know, there was a slight difficulty. But now, very kindly taking time out of his day, Jared Cannonier joins us right now on Believe You Me. Jared, I'm looking at your face here, your beautiful face, and I see a little scratch, a little tiny scratch on your cheek there. Is that the extent of the injuries? Because Jack Hermanson is an absolute beast. You went out there, as we all know. I think it was a first-round stoppage. Very impressive. Is that all? You're pretty much unscathed?
I wish I could say that that's the case, but it's not. Jack, you're absolutely right. Jack is a beast. He's an animal, and one of the kicks he landed actually, I feel, may have displaced a rib of mine. So I'm actually going to the doctor here in a couple of hours to get it x-rayed and have that confirmed. I also having my knee is swollen, so I think I got some damage or some trauma going on down there. So we're going to get that checked out as well. But other than that, nothing really major. I don't think I'm going to require any surgery or anything. So yeah, I'm good to go.
So yeah, now that you have either a knockout or a TKO in all three of your middleweight bouts, What do you think it is about this weight class that sort of, I don't know, maybe giving you the confidence to unleash your hands, or is it something? Is there something about moving down that is giving you a little bit more confidence?
No. I'm going to every bout essentially with the same mentality that I'm going to take it to my opponent best I can and put him away as fast as I can. Um, it's just at this point in time, I'm just a better fighter than I was at heavyweight.
Hmm.
Um, I've always let my hands go whenever the time was right. A few times I've actually rushed it and paid for it. So again, I'm just a better fighter. You know, we learn with each experience, and the more time we spend training and stuff. So you know, I'm just a better fighter, and just don't happen to be at middleweight.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been well documented. You started your career, I think it was around 300 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. You were at heavyweight, then you were light heavyweight, now you're middleweight, and now you're on an absolute tear. I mean, we last saw you in Brazil. You fought Anderson Silva, you took him out with a leg kick, and then you faced Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson just had a massive win over Jacare, deadly on the ground, good striking. But you went in there and it's not that you didn't show him any respect. You respected yourself, but you didn't allow yourself to be intimidated by his skills. Landed that beautiful uppercut in the first round, then you followed it up with some ground and pound. I mean, what was the game plan coming into this fight? And I mean, because you look sensational. I mean, what did you do for training?
Yep. It was the second round TKO. It was
pardon me
in the second round though. Yeah. But the main goal for this camp was to just not get taken down. You know, we knew that his best chance of winning this fight was to take me down and employ some of that ground and pound of his, and maybe catch one of those nice chokes or anything like that. So so that was it. That was it. You know, not get taken down, and you know my skills. I've always worked on my striking skills. Even everybody knows I'm predominantly a striker, so. I'm a better striker now than I was last time. Even against Anderson, I'm a better striker now. So, yeah, that's just it. You know, it's not that like you said, it's not that I didn't respect him or anything like that. It's just that when I'm in the cage, it's essentially it's all about me doing my thing. Make sure I'm getting off what I need to get off to get the victory. You know, that's the only way for me to get the win.
Yeah. Now, you also have talked a lot about in other interviews how important the move to Arizona was for you to grow as a fighter. Was that a big part, do you think, in this win?
Absolutely. I've said it before. The lab is one of the best teams in the world. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely the hardest working gym in the world, and that's what we expect out of each and every one of us. You know, they expect you to come in, work your ass off, give it everything you got, we have a saying: get 1% better every day. You know, I go to the gym every time I go in. I feel like I get 1%, if not more. You know, I'm getting better every time I go in there. So it's just more consistent. You know, it's a structured program. It's everything I need under one roof, outside of nutritionist, but I don't really need that there. So in that regard, but it's definitely been integral in the success that I've been having in my career. It's one of the reasons why I can say I'm a better fighter every fight. So I expect the same thing for my next one.
Yeah, well, you're at a great camp now. You're obviously at the correct weight and you're on a roll. I mean, David Branch, Anderson Silva, Jack Hermanson, there are three very, very big names. Of course, Anderson Silva's a legend. You took him out with a leg kick. Then you beat Jack Hermanson. A lot of people touting him as perhaps a next title challenger. What do you want next? I mean, does Darren Till versus Kelvin Gastelum, maybe that the winner of that matchup, or are you looking perhaps Baracchini, Paulo Costa, or are you thinking about a title shot? I mean, what do you want next and when do you want to fight?
Well, first and foremost, I would want a title shot. That's reaching, given the position that I'm in. I'm a realist. I already understand how, these matchmakers sort of think to a certain extent. But those three names that you mentioned are the only ones ahead of me, you know what I'm saying, after beating Jack. As far as not concerning the rankings, but as far as my place in the division, I feel, you know what I'm saying, I just beat number 5, so let's see what's ahead of that. And you just mentioned, those names: Gastelum, The winner of Gastelum Mateo will be a good one. Romero will be a good fight, or Costa will be a good fight. I have no preference on either of them. They will all get me to a title shot, so I'm good to go with all of them.
I found it really interesting. I read that a decade ago you were a 300-pound airplane mechanic, and there was I guess there's a moment where you sort of switched your thinking and jumped into MMA full time. What do you think that was? What do you think sort of the motivation was to kind of quit doing everything else and completely dive in?
Well, I wanted to do martial arts before I was a 300-pound, air traffic controller maintainer. So when I was in the Army, I did combatives for the first time, and it's kind of like low level jiu-jitsu at the level I was doing it. But I was hooked. You know what I'm saying? I knew I wanted to do it. And growing up, my brothers and my cousins and stuff playing, sports and stuff and competition and all that other stuff, and not to mention the cartoons and inspiration from movies and and all that stuff. I've always had an affinity for competition, combat, and things of that nature. But when I was in the Army, I did combatives. Combatives was my first taste of actually doing combat, and I was hooked from then on. So when I got out, I did a little bit of judo. When I moved to Alaska, 300 pounds, working a full-time job, I found myself a gym. As soon as I got up there and I got settled, you know what I'm saying? As soon as I got up there with my family and I got settled, I found a jiu-jitsu gym. And that was a goal. As soon as I had the time and the liberty to do it, because I didn't have that in the military. So as soon as I got out, and that was my pursuit, martial arts. The UFC wasn't my goal when I first got out. It was purely martial arts. I wanted to learn how to do myself and my my family and all that stuff. But the gym, the location I ended up with, that was an avenue that people could take who were into martial arts, MMA. So they had a promotion. We had a good team at the gym. So that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially.
Let me ask you, Jared. Let me ask you. So when you say 300 pounds or 300 and something pounds, what are we talking here? Are we picturing a big, gigantic, muscle-bound Jared Cannonier, or is it Luis J. Gomez 15 years ago, 300 pounds of soft tissue that realistically has no place with a shirt off?
Bro.
No, no, because before I was 300 pounds, I did lift weights. Like I said, I was always in the competition. Even when I was 300 pounds, both of my brothers are bigger than me, but they ain't big softies. These are big men who can move some things, move some people if need be. So we're a pack of animals. You know what I'm saying? We're all big. We're all athletic. It's genetic. It's just me tapping into my genetic potential and trying to reach the zenith of my human potential. But yeah, I wasn't, when I was 300 pounds, I wouldn't say I was like lifting weights or anything. I was a big fatty. I was laid up making babies with my wife. So eating wrong, not working out as much as I used to. But before I met my wife, I used to lift every day. I used to work out every day. So I was in shape as a young pup, and then I started settling down, if you will.
You don't. Once you're settled down, you don't need to hit the gym anymore. You're just a little too happy. I saw also that your wife is your team nutritionist.
Not our team nutritionist. She just provides. She just cooks food. And I eat it. So she is conscious of my career. So when she doesn't cook like burgers and macaroni and stuff like that 3-4 times a week. We're eating some salmon or some baked chicken, pasta, stuff like that. Good stuff that I can use. That's not gonna hinder my career.
Yeah, well, certainly sounds delicious. Listen, on the post-fight show, you went up there, you're there with Dan Hardy and Karen Bryant, and you were talking about some stones and some crystals and energies and things like that. So I get the impression you're a very, very deep person, but can you please explain to a moron like myself what you were talking about with the stones and the energy and the crystals, because I am honestly fascinated with what you were saying, and I'd like to know more.
All right. So, without giving you my whole history, I guess. As
Okay.
far as the stones go, they have everything that the earth produces. Everything is energy, right? Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, which is how we perceive it. Yeah, it's just a matter of how we perceive it, right? I feel that those energies also invoke certain characteristics, metaphysical, even physical attributes, or what's the word? Effects, I suppose. Some people use stones for healing. Certain stones can affect the blood, the magnetic field, or our aura, if you want to call it that. But I feel that some of these stones affect us, and that's some of the reasons why I use some of these elements.
Okay, so I've got something to ask then. So you say that the stones, and I'm not mocking here, I'm having a laugh. The stones project certain characteristics. We have a guy on our staff here called Harrington. Harrington needs a lot of work, okay? So potentially he's surrounding himself with the wrong stones, because Harrington is a nightmare. He fucks everything up. He gets everything wrong. So what is going on? What does he need to do to change these characteristics?
Harrington's just getting stoned. He read the book wrong.
Well, if he's just getting stoned, then he's okay. But if he's an actual fuck up, you may need to take him out and just stone him. Period.
Let's stone him to death. That's actually the best solution: is murdering Harrington with rocks. I love it.
Finally, an interviewee that has the same mindset that we do. Oh, that's amazing. Listen, Jared. So what's going on with the knee then? I know the rib and the knee. So you're going to go see a doctor later to see the rib. I saw you saying on Instagram yesterday you feel like the rib might have popped out.
Yeah, he threw a front kick. It didn't seem like much. As I look back, when I look at the video, it didn't seem like that much of a kick. You know what I'm saying? Because I also deflected it at the same time, so I took some of the steam off of it. But he landed the kick real nice, and I felt it instantly. I felt him move some stuff around. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But I didn't wear it or anything like that to let him know or anybody else know. But I definitely felt it in there, and it didn't feel as bad as another rib dysplasia that I had. But I definitely know it feels just like I displaced a rib. It hurts to cough. It hurts to move from one position to the next. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But as far as the knee goes, I've had I had this knee scoped before, and I think it could be some more irritation or inflammation of the meniscus in there. But I'm gonna have them check it out and hopefully get some therapy on it and get it back to where it was.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Joe Rogan knows a stem cell guy somewhere in South America, and I'm sure he could be hooked up if you play your cards right. Listen, Jared, we're going to let you go here in just a second. Congratulations on the huge win, obviously. Now you sort of put yourself into the position of being dark horse of the division. A lot of people think that you have a real shot to move on to the title. No timeline as to when you're going to be able to come back in the cage?
Late to early next, either late this year, early 2019, or late 19 or early 2020. So I'll be ready in the next couple of months. Having a rib displaced is like 4 to 5 week recovery. The knee, I feel is hopefully it's not as serious as I think it is, but inflammation can go down in a matter of weeks. So I expect to be back on the mats, at least training on the mats in 4 or 5 weeks. But I'm going to be back in the gym in the next couple of weeks working out. Jared's our strength and conditioning guy, and he knows he knows how to work around injuries and stuff like that. So I trust him with my body. You know what I'm saying? I felt super strong in the last fight, and I can attribute that to the work I've been doing with him. So he's also smart as far as recovery and all the other stuff goes too. So he's the guy who we go to
Yeah. As Lewis said, we'll let you go, but 2 quick questions for you real fast. One, Whittaker versus Adesanya this weekend. Who do you see winning? And secondly, you stopped Anderson Silva with a leg kick. And we had a lot of fun on this show at the time when you did that. We were like, oh, maybe Anderson blew his leg out. Maybe it was a torn ACL. But it was literally just a leg kick. Yeah. And so what is your reaction to that? And who do you think wins this weekend?
First question, who I think wins this weekend? I don't like picking fights. I think you know that.
Come on.
Like picking fights. Though both tough guys, man. I think Adesanya is a wizard on the feet. You know what I'm saying? He's a killer up there. And Whittaker is good everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to take it to you on the feet. He's a black belt on the ground as well. I think that's probably be his biggest advantage in this fight. Let me get this camera right. I think that'll be his biggest advantage in this fight. Will definitely be his ground, his jiu-jitsu acumen. But you know, it's a matter. I think it's going to be a matter if he can take Adesanya down, because I think Adesanya is definitely the superior striker. I think it's only if he stays standing with him, it'll only be a matter of time before Adesanya starts putting his things together. So if Whittaker can mix in his takedowns, I'm not telling him to just take him down and win the fight, but if Whittaker can mix in his takedowns, I think he'll be successful in that fight. So it can go either way. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that this person is going to win, because me as a fighter myself and as a realist, I know a fight can go anyway.
Well, that must be a very. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. What was the second question again?
Well, that was also.
I was just going to say you stopped Anderson Silva with a kick to the leg. You know what I mean? We were joking, saying we thought it must have been an ACL tear or a broken bone, perhaps, but no, it was a good old-fashioned leg kick. And
go
ahead.
Well, we speculated that when Anderson kneed you in the chin, remember that your chin was so tough that you actually caused some sort of ligament damage in his knee, which made his leg that much more susceptible to being chopped out. Bisping's got a very strong chin. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, yeah. And so basically you kicked him in the leg. We're used to taking leg kicks, but he just fell on the floor and he took it. I mean, what are we saying here? Is Anderson Silva just a total pussy or what? What's going on?
Anderson Silva is the GOAT, right?
I know. I'm messing around.
I was saying that from the start. They had questioned me that he was injured. I was like, if he was injured, if he had a knee injury, he shouldn't have been fighting in the first place. That's why we get physicals and all that stuff done before we even go into a fight. On top of that, I said the exact same thing too. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hurt his leg. I mean, he didn't lose because his leg was hurt, because that wasn't the first time I kicked him. That was the 11th time I kicked him. And that certainly wasn't the hardest I kicked him. So that was I knew what it was when it happened. And I knew it was an accumulation of damage. If it ruptured if his knee was torn, it's because I did that. And I knew that too. So people are going to say what they say, especially the fans. You know, fans are going to say whatever the hell they're going to say. So I don't really pay no attention to them. I knew it was what. You know what I'm saying? I cashed my checks and I went home.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, mate, as Lewis said, and as I said, terrific performance at the weekend. It was a great win over Anderson. You're on a tear. You're on a roll. And one of the nicest guys ever, by the way. So rest up, heal up, get those stones out. In the meantime, we'll beat the shit out of Harrington. We'll stone him upon your suggestion. And there it is. Send that to us and we'll throw that at Harrington's head many, many times until he dies. But in the meantime, my friend, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, Jared. All the best and congrats. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool, Jared Cannonier. Very nice guy. Family guy.
One of
kids
the
in the
nicest
background,
guys.
which I love.
Yeah, I was going to ask him.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about the kids there. You could hear them in the background. After he beat Anderson Silva, I was talking to him in the bar in Rio, and just the nicest, coolest guy. You know, doesn't want to talk shit, doesn't want to talk trash. Didn't even want to give a winner for the big fight this weekend, which we are going to discuss on the second show. We won't get into it today, but the second show we'll get into that.
You know what he's good at though? He's good at. He answered that question. He gave no response. But he gave the longest response possible. You're like, who do you think is going to win this weekend? Then he went on for 5 minutes to say, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a very comfortable fence that you're sitting on,
yeah.
Okay? Listen, you got to call people out. You got to say some things. But no, Jared Cannonier, awesome guy. And can't wait to see him fight again.
All right, Mike, really quickly, we got to talk about BetDSI, which is awesome. We're going to give our fight picks for this weekend's cards. a little bit later on. But maybe you can give them a little bit of insight, a little bit of gambling advice here, possibly. BetDSI is the place to do it. They've been in business for over 20 years. It's the one gambling site you've probably heard of. That's because people trust them. They get a great reputation. They pay fast. It's a really easy to use interface. I didn't understand gambling websites before I started going to BetDSI, so they make it fun. Honestly, you do in-game wagering as well, which is a rare thing with gambling websites. Honestly, they have great customer service 24/7. That's the most important thing. You put some money down somewhere, you want to be able to talk to somebody.
Well, and also one of the big important things is that BetDSI has built a reputation on fast payment of winnings. That for me is one of the big important things. If you put a flutter, you put a little wager down on something and it comes in, you win, you want to get paid. And as I said, they've built a reputation on that. And here's the good thing. Listen, we all know if you're watching a sporting event, it's always more interesting when you put some money down on that event. And BetDSI have a fantastic promo code for everybody that they can use that will give you a 60% bonus match up to $1,000. So let's say you're a big-time baller, you're going to watch the fights this weekend, you're going to put $1,000 down. That $1,000 then becomes $1,600. Or if you put $10 down, it becomes $16. $20 becomes $32. Okay, I could go on all day. The mathematical prowess that I possess is off the charts. It's crazy, but you get the idea. A 60% bonus cash match, which is incredible. So all you got to do to get involved is go to betdsi.com and use the promo code BYM120. That lets them know that we sent you. It supports the show and gives you 60% more cash to play with. So betdsi.com, BYM120. That's the code. All right, guys, where were we?
All right, we should talk about this. This is the official Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman, finally set for UFC 245, December UFC card in Las Vegas. Now has 3 title fights with Nunes versus GDR, Holloway versus Volkanovski, and now this one. Major card right there. But this is it. It's official. I guess there was some, whatever was going on, there was some stalling or something behind the scenes, but obviously that fight had to be made.
Here's the thing. I mean, on the podcast, whenever we discussed this last week, couple of weeks ago, or pretty much in general, right? I've done a pretty good job of shitting all over Colby Covington. Okay, but now I'm going to retract my statements because he played it well. He played it well because I said, all right, he wanted the title fight forever. He turned it down. He was supposed to fight Woodley, but apparently he was injured. So there was that whole thing. So it didn't make Colby look good. Then they offered him Kamaru Usman, apparently turned it down because he wanted more money. Then they offered him Tyron Woodley, and he turned that down. Now he's fighting Usman after all at the end of the year show or whenever it is. When is it? December?
Yeah, December
245.
Yeah, UFC 245, December 14th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so listen, to be honest, now it looks like Colby played it correctly because he's got the title fight. So number one, I understand him turning down the Woodley fight. Why are you going to take Woodley on? Woodley's a tough fight, right, for anybody. He's a very, very tough fight. He was the champion up until very, very recently. So if they offer you a title fight because the money wasn't right, for the UFC to then offer you Woodley, that doesn't make sense for Covington. It doesn't. Now, I was quick to throw him under a bus and say this guy doesn't want to fight anybody. But it seems like perhaps, and I don't know, this is no circle of trust issues here, one would assume that they went back to the negotiating table and all parties are happy now. So he's got the title fight that he wanted. He's not fighting Woodley. He's fighting for the belt, and he must be getting more money. So, I kind of take back what I said, and it seems like Covington here has got his own way. I don't know, or maybe he went to the UFC and said, you know what? I take the initial fight against Usman for the amount offered. Who knows? We don't know. You were going to say something there.
Well, it's sort of like they all position in a certain way. Like you got to always take everything with a grain of salt. So Dana White will come out and say, Colby doesn't want any of these fights, that's that. And that's almost like his negotiating chip. So then Colby has to respond. And it's this weird, it's almost like when chicks subtweet each other and they try to take passive aggressive shots. That's what I see happen a lot with those negotiations. So you never know. I'm happy this fight is happening because Colby is a fucking just the ultimate bad guy of the division. Honestly, I mean, obviously we're going to get into the fight, as the months come up to it, we'll get into picks and all that other stuff. But I think Colby actually really might win this fight, dude. I mean, Usman's a monster, but what I saw Colby do in that Robbie Lawler fight, I was so impressed with his striking, the volume, just the output, and he's a killer wrestler. So I just think I don't know, man. Colby Covington might be the future 170-pound champion. How crazy is that? It will make people. It's like when Trump won. People are going to wake up the next morning and be like, "What the fuck happened? How did this happen? Nobody saw this coming."
There's definitely a very, very good possibility of it happening. Listen, Usman's a terrific fighter, looks sensational, but as you just said, so does Covington. It's not like he's there by accident, you know. Covington's looked outstanding in every one of his performances, pardon me. So, yeah, I mean, there's certainly the potential for that. And yeah, it's one of those fights. It's a back and forth, but that fight card, 3 title fights, I think the last time that was done was UFC 217. So, I mean, that's a huge fight card in December. I did want to touch quickly on Tyron Woodley, seeing his name came up there. Tyron Woodley was talking about his fight with Kamaru Usman. And said that he never showed up in that fight. And he said that, you know, he felt like God was talking to him. He did a thing with Brendan Sharp, the Food Truck Diaries. I happened to catch a quick minute of that. And he was talking about, you know, I never showed up for that fight. That wasn't Tyron Woodley in that fight. Listen, we all have bad nights at the office. We do. When I fought GSP, the same thing happened to me. I had the best training camp ever. I just fought like shit on the night, you know, and that happens sometimes. You've got to be good enough to where you can still win on your bad nights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I understand Woodley's pissed off and he's upset. And yeah, of course, he never showed up. He didn't fight that well. But for Woodley, he's just got to accept that. Kamaru's the champion. Covington's fighting for the belt. And Woodley's going to have to pick himself back up. And you're right. Covington did play this perfectly. Played it absolutely perfectly, and now he's fighting for the belt on a big fight card with 3 title fights. Maybe that was the negotiating thing. Maybe UFC said, listen, how about this? We're not going to give you more money, but we're going to put you on a fight card where you get pay-per-view and there's 3 title fights on. So this thing could do 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Officially,
maybe that was what they said.
Are they the main event? They are, right? Of that card?
They've got to be. They've got to be. Who else is on?
Unconfirmed right now.
Unconfirmed.
Volkanovski versus Holloway and Nunez versus Jermaine Durandame.
I mean,
so a lot of big name Brazilians on there. Aldo and Nunez. Holloway. I mean, Jesus Christ, Holloway's a big star. Volkanovski's great. Nunez, GDR. That's a good fight. Yeah, I mean, that's a killer fight card. I don't know if it would get like 1 million pay-per-view buys, but it's certainly going to do very, very well. And we finally get to see Covington either put up or shut up. You know, can he become the champion? And as much as he gets on my nerves at times, the guy deserves it. He deserves it. He's beating everybody put out there. So, you know what? I never thought I'd say this. I'm happy for the guy.
you're happy for Colby.
He deserves it. You can't deny that. When somebody goes out there and they fight their ass off, they're not taking steroids. He's not popping for steroids. He's not cheating in any way, shape, or form. He's working his ass off. Oh, yeah, he's talking shit. You know, I get that. He's talking shit. I talked a lot of shit. So you can't hold that against him. You know what I mean? And apparently everybody says he's a really, really nice guy when he's not, you know, portraying this character that he does. So you've got to be happy for the guy. You just got to be. Simple as that.
I look at it as him being a bad guy on a TV show, right? So I can enjoy, you know, name any TV show. I don't know, fucking
Friends.
There's no bad guy in Friends. That was a terrible example.
Okay. Breaking Bad. Who's the bad guy in Breaking Bad?
The good guy's the bad guy. It's why it's one of the best shows ever. Ugh.
Yeah, I know, but who's the bad guy? Gus, the chicken guy? Rebecca loves the chicken guy. I don't know why.
But
she,
that's actually
really
the
loves
point.
him.
You still have those bad characters make the show great. So you have to look at what that means. So Colby Covington, even if you dislike him, if you have a visceral reaction to him, an emotional reaction to Colby Covington, just realize that he is just your fucking Skeletor to your He-Man, and that's it. And you have to appreciate that Skeletor is there. If there was no Skeletor, there would be no He-Man. Well, good, there is no evil.
I totally agree, but I'm just thinking of other shows and the bad guys or bad women in this age of equality. And I'm just thinking of Cersei Lannister, Game of Thrones. I fucking love Cersei Lannister. You throw that leather dress on her and that evil bitchness that she has, it's good. Yeah, you're right. I sign off on the bad guys all day long. If they look and talk like Cersei Lannister, I'm all about it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was watching pro wrestling, I remember the moment. I remember there was a moment, because I didn't grow up on sports, I grew up on pro wrestling. And I liked all the good guys. I liked Hulk Hogan and The Ultimate Warrior and all the good guys as a kid. And then The Undertaker came in Survivor Series, I don't even know the year. And dude, Hulk Hogan had never lost at a pay-per-view, ever. It was Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, okay? The Undertaker came in, this 7-foot tall dead man who didn't talk, his long hair, and he killed Hulk Hogan easily at this event. And I remembered at the moment, I was like, holy shit, that's way cooler than being the kid who's rooting for the good guy and the say your prayers and eat your vitamins. That sucks. Rooting for the bad guy is way, way cooler. And that's sort of where I shifted.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you do need good bad guys. Chael Sonnen, there you go. The bad guy. That's what he calls himself, But he's not a bad guy. Chael Sonnen's anything but a bad guy. If you meet Chael Sonnen, have you ever met Chael, Lewis?
I have. I looked at Harrington because that's where my memory is at. I was like, Harrington, have I met Chael Sonnen?
I'm like, dude, you're definitely smoking too much weed. You got to look at your sycophants to let you know whether or not you've met the guy. Okay, let's just assume that you haven't. Let me tell you, Chael Sonnen, nice guy, no controversy, goes to bed early, loving guy, family man, all that type of stuff. He's an absolute gentleman. There's no scandal or controversy around him whatsoever in his day-to-day life. And when you're with him, he's not being loud, he's not being obnoxious, he's not being like me. I'm the guy that's annoying everybody in whatever room we're in. He's just nice and quiet in the corner with his glasses on, looking like a total nerd, reading the newspaper. You know what I mean? He's not a bad guy at all, but he used to switch it on, turn it on for those moments in public. So, maybe Covington's doing the same thing.
I didn't really follow Chael when he was in WEC as much. I knew who he was. He was the last, I believe, WEC middleweight champion, if I'm not mistaken, or 205-pound champion. Regardless,
nobody followed WEC. Can we just pretend? Can we all stop pretending? Nobody followed WEC. There might have been a few people. The final
WEC pay-per-view. I purchased that Ben Henderson versus Anthony Pettis Showtime kick. It was incredible. The last few seconds of the last WEC pay-per-view ever, he lands at the time, maybe to this day, the coolest fucking strike ever landed in a fight. Not only that, if you remember that fight, it was 2 rounds even going into the 5th round, and that last round was dead even between those two, and that kick won him that fight. It was insane. So that's when UFC now has a pay-per-view on or a free card on every weekend. But back then, that's when the UFC was once every 6 weeks. Once every 4 weeks at the most. And in WEC, any of these smaller things that would come on, I would just, gravitate to. There was one that was really bad that was on like UPN 9, and they edited it. They didn't even show the fights, dude. They literally just edited the most violent parts, and they tried to angle it like it was pro wrestling. It was so fucking bad. But back then we were so starved for MMA that anything we would watch.
Yeah, well, we never got WEC in England, so that's why I never watched it. So who knows? Maybe it was massive out here. You certainly seem to have a hard-on for it, but no, we didn't see it at all. That was why. Go ahead, Harrington. Butt in.
Just clear it up. Chael fought the last middleweight champion in WEC. He beat the champion, however, the champion missed weight, so Chael never received the belt.
That's right. That fucked up. The champion missed weight. So he didn't get to actually take the title. It wasn't a title shot, even though he won.
Yeah, that was what's his face? I forget his name now. The bit of a mess. Paulo Filo. Filo. He was a bit of a mess.
But well, I'm sorry. I apologize. Just as that point that I sort of was getting stuck on was, I don't know that Chael before that Anderson fight was doing that type of shit. I don't think he was I think he was just just a regular dude. And I think he got that Anderson fight, and then he said, this is an opportunity, and he capitalized on it in a beautiful way, because as soon as the spotlight was on him, he said, this is it. I can create something for myself and build equity in my character and my future. And I think more fighters need to sort of look at that as an example. And it can be, if you do it right, you can really turn yourself into a star.
No. Totally. Couldn't disagree with you more. Nobody look at what Chael did and go, oh, look at that as an example of what you need to do. No. Never, ever. Do you. Be you. Be who you are. Just be real. Have your personality. Going out there and trying to copy someone is fucking the most cringeworthy bullshit I've ever seen in my life. No, but you were saying, take that blueprint, look at that blueprint and try and recreate the energy and all that stuff. Just be yourself. Be authentic. Simple as that. You got to be authentic. If you can't be yourself in this world, then what can you be? Because this isn't wrestling. It's not bullshit. It's not fake. It's real. Go out there, portray yourself how you want to be, right? Be you. Be authentic on the microphone. That's what people are drawn to. If you're being yourself, that's the best thing, because some people go out there and they try and do that. They try and recreate moments like Chael and Connor have done over the years, and it just comes across as terrible and corny, and you can see right through it. And if this is an act from Colby, then yeah, he is a little bit annoying. It is a little bit see-through, but I just say be yourself. That's
I agree with
really
you, Mike.
Cool.
And
You need to turn that down a little bit next time. Moving on from this conversation, because it's gone on far too long. Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez booked for Boston co-main event. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Thank God they're doing that. That is the correct thing. I think Yair Rodriguez initially turned him down, which blew my mind. But of course, he's rethunk that and they're booking it for Boston co-main event. When is that? It's coming up real soon, right? It's in October sometime, I think. And it's the co-main event to Weidman versus Reyes, which is funny because we were talking about John Jones before John Jones came out, and because Weidman is talking about being a challenger to John Jones, and John Jones came out and just like kind of put like a laughing emoji or something, or told Chael to shut up, or not Chael, pardon me, Weidman to shut up or something like that. I forget what it was on Twitter, because Weidman's saying that he's going out there now saying he's going to potentially become champion. He took down the GOAT Anderson Silva in his prime, and now he's going to take down John Jones, and John Jones is just kind of laughing. But going back to the initial point, Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez, that's good. That's good for them, right? I don't know what they got paid for that first fight, but they can have a couple of weeks off. The training's already there. You know what I mean? They've already got themselves in great shape. It's not ideal. It's not perfect, but they're going to get the show money twice. So where at first they were kind of bummed out, they were kind of pissed off. If you want to look at the silver lining, well, there it is. They're going to get the show money twice for the same training camp and for one fight. So, and
it's also
everybody's a winner.
3-rounder this time, not a 5-rounder. So, I don't know how much that affects anything, but I'm assuming they're probably the contract's probably almost the same. I don't think that they're essentially just doing a redo.
Yeah, no. So that is a good point what you bring up there, though. 3 rounds against 5 rounds. I'm trying to think who that would favor more. You know what I mean? Because Yair Rodriguez has got a prettier style. He bounces around a lot, but Jeremy Stevens isn't the type of guy to run out of gas either. So, Jeremy's capable of knocking somebody out in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th just as much as he is in the first round. So I don't know. I don't think it really affects either person. It certainly shortens the fight. It's going to make it more explosive, but it doesn't give anyone an advantage. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, the only thing it does is it sort of lets these guys let go a little bit more, probably conserve energy less. Even though Jeremy Stevens nor is Yair Rodriguez. These guys are both extremely explosive fighters. I'm excited. Even with the shit talking, to be honest with you, when something like that happens and then it was so emotional afterwards, I think there'll be even more interest this time out to actually watch that fight happen.
Yeah, it's just built it up into a bigger fight. It's definitely a grudge match. We saw Jeremy and Yair got into it at the hotel afterwards. So, these things, it was a shame at the time. It was a bummer at the time. Certainly for the Mexican fans that went out there and spent all this money, we all know what happened there, right? They're all pissed off. It sucks for them. But for everyone else, everyone that didn't fly to Mexico, everybody that didn't buy a ticket, everybody that sat on their couch at home, it's good for them. It's great for them. The poor bastards that flew down to Mexico City, it sucks for them, but I'm sure the UFC will make it up to them, no doubt.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at Chris Weidman's record. He's 1-4 in his last 5 outings.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Win over Kelvin. Got a win over Kelvin. In his last fight, he lost to Jacare. Lost to Gegard Mousasi, lost to Yoel Romero, lost to Luke Rockhold, and then the last win before that was May 23rd, 2015, Vitor Belfort. So, Weidman, before it's... I understand calling out John Jones, so it makes you look pretty cool, but I just, let's just get a couple wins. Just a couple. Before you go after the absolute best of the best in the world, just get a couple wins. A top 10 middleweight even. Even a top 10 middleweight.
Yeah. No, for sure. And he's got a tough fight because he's fighting Dominic Reyes on that fight, and I think Reyes is undefeated. If I'm not
11-0.
mistaken. Yeah, 11-0. I mean, that's not an easy picking to make your first, your debut at light heavyweight. That's not an easy fight. But you know those fights that you mentioned there, Lewis. You know there was like kind of a story in every one. The Jacare fight, he was probably winning that fight, and then he got dropped with the right hand. The Musasi fight, what happened there? There was some kind of controversy with the knee to the head. The Yoel Romero fight, he was winning the Yoel fight, then he got flying kneed into oblivion. In fact,
he was doing okay in the Yoel fight. He wasn't getting murdered.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point I'm making is completely wrong. Oh, he was doing well. I was winning that fight until I got knocked out. Well, the final result is that you got knocked out. I'm trying to do right by Chris Weidman. Chris is a good guy. He's a hell of a fighter. But you're right. Before he talks about John Jones, he's got to beat Dominic Reyes, which is a very, very, very tough fight.
And Reyes, it's not even like Reyes is like 11-0 against tomato cans. His last 3 fights were against Volkan Oezdemir, Ovince St. Preux, and our very own Jared Cannonier. Victories over all 3 of these guys in his last 3 outings. So, I mean, he's another guy who's just right at the, dude. It's funny because you said Dominic Reyes, and I was like, it's not even a name that I'm super familiar with because he's like newer to being in the spotlight. But yeah, dude, he's 6'4", big dude. I think Weidman's going to get killed by this guy. I really do.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think Weidman's going to get destroyed. I think it's definitely a tough fight. I remember when John Jones fought Thiago Santos back in the summer, right? And on the post-fight show with Chael Sonnen said the next fight to make has got to be John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. And we talked about this on the show before. I said to Chael right then and there, I said, "You're crazy, Chael. Listen, Dominic Reyes is a very good fighter, but nobody cares." And I wasn't saying that in a detrimental fashion to Dominic Reyes. What I mean is, well, you just explained it. I mean, you're not even familiar with Dominic Reyes. So for a pay-per-view fight, for a champion like John Jones, for a fighter that everybody knows needs to be challenged, a guy that hasn't really had those big fights to where the public are behind him and hyped by him, Dominic Reyes is not that guy. But he is a guy that will give anybody a tough fight. And Chris Weidman, fair play, definitely got a very, very tough fight on that one.
All right, Mike, let's just take a quick moment and talk about Monday.com, which is honestly changed the way that my life is working. I have so many different things happening right now, everything from the shows here at Gas Digital to the planning for Skankfest for this year. It's really difficult to sort of keep track of everything. You get a million emails, text messages, Post-it notes, to even if, let's say I want to talk to you about this show, I got to go through all my emails between you, Harrington, Brian, find the right one, find today's notes, find the ads. It's a pain in the ass. It is a little bit crazy. So Monday.com, they've created this interface, which essentially lets you work with, literally thousands of people if you want, but you could have a team as small as 2 people and you have all of your work projects in one place, nice and organized, really, really easy to use. And you don't have to be, spending so much extra time being stressed out about organizing things. I get 1,000 emails a day. This is such an amazing tool. I know you started using it for all of your UFC work.
Yeah, I use it for that. I use it for my acting stuff, my auditions, my commentating work specifically. Because from the UFC, when you're preparing, they send you through all different audio files. They send you video files. They send you bios in every fight. They send you a lot of information, but you still got to do a lot of research yourself. And when you get all those different emails in, it's hard to keep track of them and keep them in one place. With Monday.com, trust me, it makes it so easy, right? I'm not searching emails. I'm not wasting time. Basically, that's the main thing. It saves a lot of time, and as we know in this day and age, time is money. So if this sounds like something that you could use, you want to customize your workflow, remove miscommunications from the workday, right now go to monday.com/believe. They're going to give you a 14-day free trial, and this offer is only good for another month. So don't wait on this and continue wasting time at work. Go to monday.com/believe for a free 14-day trial and make sure you use that exact link. Okay. Monday.com/believe. What more do you want? Okay. Back to the show. Tell you what I do want to talk about here. Point number 6 on the notes there, Lewis. Rashad Evans. This happened, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't spoke about it since then. Rashad Evans has been released by the UFC. His last fight was the last fight on his contract. So it was the last fight in the UFC, but it was also the last fight on his contract. Apparently, from what I read online, he went to Dana, and they both agreed, that UFC didn't want to give him another fight. If I'm getting any of these facts wrong, I apologize, Rashad. I'm going off what I read online. But sounds like he may be coming out of retirement.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought he was retired. So...
Well, he was retired.
Yeah.
He was, but I mean, here's the thing. I mean, he said that because Rashad now is a very, very deep person. He's totally vegan, if I'm not mistaken. He's on a pure plant-based diet, and he said that his body feels way better, right? And I think he's going to come back at 170, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, here's the thing: a lot of 170, which is crazy. We were talking about Jared Cannonier.
He won the Ultimate Fighter heavyweight.
I know, that's what I was going to say. Won the Ultimate Fighter at heavyweight, won the belt at 205, lost some fights at 185. Now he's going to come back at 170. I mean, he is the incredible shrinking man.
The only other person that I can think of that has sort of done that dramatic, it's a few people. Anthony Rumble Johnson, heavyweight down to 170 up to heavyweight. And then also Kenny Florian.
I was going to say Kenny Florian. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Or Diego Sanchez. There's another one for you.
Yeah, but I think he went from 155 to 185. Florian went down to 145.
No. He started at 185. Sanchez started at 185, went to 170, 155, went to 145 for a little bit. Now he's back at lightweight.
Did he? He went down to 145? Fact check.
I think so.
Fact check.
Fact check it. Well, he definitely went to 155. I know that.
I know that.
10 pounds between friends. Jesus Christ. I'll lend you a tenner. I'll give you 10 quid.
There's been a few guys. Florian was the most dramatic. He was the first one to do it because he won the Ultimate Fighter. I believe he won at 185, and then
he lost to Diego Sanchez, if I'm not mistaken. He got choked out pretty quickly because he was just too small. You know, I mean, Kenny's a great guy as well. Shout out Kenny Florian. Just going back to the
BJ Penn, Kenny Florian, and Diego Sanchez have gone from 185 to 145.
Actually, BJ fought at 205. I believe he fought Lyoto Machida overseas at 205 pounds.
Correct, but
Correct,
spanning 4 classes. BJ's own.
Yeah, but the fact remains that I was correct.
Well, I think BJ has the largest span, though, from fighting light heavy to 145.
That wasn't the question. The question was fact-checked, Harrington. Did Diego fight at 145? The answer was yes, he did. And there you go. 1 to me. Thank you, Harrington. Good job. No, Rashad Evans. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I haven't spoken to Rashad. Maybe we'll get him on the show. You miss it. Now, I don't know his financial situation. I would assume that he's okay. Rashad's a smart guy. You know, he wasn't out there living a crazy lifestyle. He's got his head screwed on. But he's still around fighters. You know, he still trains with Kamaru Usman. He trains with Gilbert Burns. I think it's called the Hard Knocks Gym with, what's his name? The Dutch guy. Jesus Christ. Harrington? What's he called? The Dutch striking coach. They trains with them all. Oh, fuck. I apologize. It's going to come to me in a moment. Anyway, the point that I'm making is he's around the fighters all the time. He's in the gym. He's helping them get ready for fights. He's cornering them for fights. When you're doing that is going to try and drag you back in. And on top of it, let's not forget, being the center of attention, being on posters, getting ready for a fight, it's addictive. It's addictive, you know.
It's why the greatest moment Rashad Evans in his life, besides his kids being born, but you know, if you really got in his head, you really broke it down. Like his happiest moment is winning that fucking title. The endorphins that were released in the moment where you're like, because it's not like, because yes, obviously your kids being born is this amazing moment, but it's like you win that title, you also feel like you're winning for your kids, you're winning for your family. Every fucking trial and tribulation that came before then, every hurdle you had to overcome, it's just culminates in this moment of like, you are truly the best, literally in a very literal sense, the best. And then to go back to just whatever the fuck else you're doing, to get that sense of greatness. How do you even compete?
And let's be honest, you know, having a kid, you don't even do anything. You know what I mean? You just stand there and scroll Instagram, scroll. I was having steak and kidney pudding, chips, peas, and gravy while my wife was in labor. I spent more time going down to the canteen in the hospital to eat food. I mean, the labor went on for like 3 days. But yeah, I'm sorry. Having kids is great, but winning the title is better because, you know, it's a solo mission. Listen, I love my children. I love them dearly. Callum, Ellie, and Lucas, yeah. Very, very solid people. But winning the belt, that tops it. I'm sorry, kids. Love you.
Because in your post-fight speech, if I do not remember, he goes, besides the day my kids were born, when I married my wife, you're like, it's all bullshit. You have to say that horseshit. Say the soundbite. But the truth is,
you gotta say it.
You give up one memory. Fuck it. All right, dude. Whatever. They were born.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, listen, and anyone can father a child.
And
No,
also,
listen, but
as it relates to Rashad though, and coming back, if you are healthy, right? Even if Rashad Evans never believes that he's going to be a champion again, or he's never going to get to but if he goes to fucking Bellator, he could probably be a Bellator champion. Let's get real. But even if he doesn't believe it, if you're healthy enough, I mean, I had a little taste of training in my life, and I want to do it just for the sake of getting back in shape, just for the sake of sort of challenging myself. And it was a really cool experience as at like an amateur level. So at the highest level, where this is something that has been sort of what has been your entire life for as long as you guys can basically remember. Rashad Evans has been wrestling probably since he was a small child, competing physically and doing that. Why wouldn't you go back?
Well, but because here's the thing, right? So as I said, I'm not in a gym. I'm not around the MMA scene. I mean, I am, of course. I commentate and I work as an analyst and that type of stuff, and we do the podcast. But I'm not in the gym on a day-to-day basis, helping people. Henry Hooft, pardon me, my apologies to Henry Hooft, great guy. That's the Dutch striking coach I was trying to think of earlier. Right. So Henry Hooft, my bad, great guy, fantastic coach as well. No, but I'm not in the gym every day helping fighters get ready for fights. I'm not helping them cut weight, right? I'm not cornering them. When Rashad's an active part of that team, right? So he's around that. So he's in there, he's training. And let's say he's training with Kamaru Usman. Right, let's say, and by the way, this is a totally made-up hypothetical situation, so don't anybody get offended. I'm talking Usman or Rashad, but let's say he's in the gym and he's training with Usman, right, and he's doing well, he's doing good, and he takes him down, and when he's sparring, he's like, do you know what? I still fucking got this. I can still do this. You know what I mean?
Fuck up Kamaru Usman.
I am going to be the fucking champ. Simple as that. I'm on a plant-based diet. I've lost all my muscles, and I'm taking that fucking belt. I know we're friends, but fuck you. It's all about me. No. So he has that temptation, and he says to himself, I can still do it. On top of that, there's the allure of the money, which is a very, very powerful thing. And, of course, being the center of attention again. Your ego, all that type of stuff. I mean, listen, I miss it. I miss it every time, making that walk where we've talked about it many times, preparing for that fight, preparing the mission, formulating a game plan, getting all your coaches around, sitting about, putting that plan into place is a very exciting thing.
Not even just the fight, but you are constantly throughout that camp, throughout that process, you're constantly setting and hitting goals, right? So it's whether it's being on weight, hitting certain things, a certain amount of hours in the gym, whatever it is, you're constantly sort of getting that fix of like, oh, I'm doing something, I'm progressing, I'm doing something really important. It's a real sense of purpose. It's a real, like, even if, and could be in anything you do, it's why, little kids, it's important for them to get into sports and things like that because they should know what it's like to achieve a goal and to kind of strive for something and sort of, be able to visualize it and follow through. And I think on the highest level, professional sports, I mean, that's so much of who you are and your identity is sort of like going through that process. If you don't have something to sort of give you that fulfillment, which you do, obviously, in the acting and the podcasting and the radio and the broadcasting, I can imagine just being boring and being like, fuck it, dude.
100%. I mean, even still, I'm pretty busy. I'm juggling. I've got a few. What's the expression I'm looking for? A few pans in the fire. I don't know. Whatever. I'm a pretty busy guy. I have a lot of things going on. But even still, there's some days where I have nothing going on. My screen just got really bright for some reason. It's crazy. No, but like some days I'll get out of bed and I've got nothing to do that day. You know what I mean? And I'm bored as hell. I'm sitting around the house. And if I'm another fighter that's retired and you don't have a show coming up that you're going to prepare for, that you're commentating, perhaps you haven't got an acting role that you need to go for, you haven't got some business endeavors, you haven't got a podcast, and you've got all this time, and you're just going into a gym and you're helping other people train, of course, the idea of fighting again is very, very tempting. I mean, I don't think you'll know who he is, but it was just in the news this week, a British boxer, a legendary British boxer called Nigel Benn. He was a world champion at one point. He's coming out of retirement, and he's fighting at 55 years old. I'm not sure who he's fighting. I forget that off the top of my head. But, but there you go. I mean, Nigel Benn is a true British boxing icon. He really is. Him and Chris Eubank had 3 amazing fights back in the day. Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, he went off and then became a DJ, relatively successful house DJ, nightclub DJ. And then
it's like the opposite of your career.
Well, I don't know about the opposite. Well, yeah, I used to be a DJ, then I became a fighter. He was a fighter, became a DJ. All right, fair enough. But still, there you go. It's very, very alluring, you know what I mean? And it's always there. If you're a fighter, because before in my eye and before in my knees and stuff like that, I always said to Rebecca, listen, even in my 50s, I'll always be able to say, do you know what? I'm going to fly to Japan and fight some fucking guy and get
fight Boss Rutan.
50 grand. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a name. Fuck it. I'm going to go get 50 grand this weekend. Oh, what? We're a little short of cash? No worries. I'll take a shitty fight in some promotion somewhere. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you start on your MMA career, right? I remember back in the day, Cage Rage, they would have, they'd have like an ex-UFC guy on. And a lot of regional shows still do it, and they'll advertise it. UFC veteran. Whoever it is on the card, and you're like, ooh, a UFC guy.
Granted,
so I always said, listen,
he went 0-3 in the promotion, and never was on a main card, but
never won a fight. It was the first fight of the night. There was nobody in the arena, but still, he's got that moniker. He was a UFC veteran, and it's valuable. You know what I mean? So I always said to Rebecca, I said, Jesus Christ, if things go wrong financially down the line, being a champion and all this type of stuff, still, I'll just take a fight here and there, and we'll always be able to earn money. Of course, that's gone out the window now with my eye situation, but I get it. I do. And whatever Rashad does, because he's a great human being, I just wish him the best. I wish him the absolute best, because let me tell you right now, there is not a nicer person on this earth that you could meet than Rashad Evans, and I stand by that.
Yeah, he's a classy guy. I watched some of that documentary on Netflix that featured him very heavily. I forget the name of it, but it made me really like Rashad, because he was just, it was him just sort of like, I guess he'd just coming off some injury, and he was training again, coming back, and then he got another injury, and just like the heartbreak you saw on his face, it was really brutal. It was like, what is that documentary, Harrington? I know you know what it is. Fight something?
I have no idea what you're talking about. The Hurt Business?
I think it's The Hurt Business, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've heard of that one, but I've never seen it.
It was good.
Do you want to just do a quick plug? I need to run to the bathroom. I'm holding my pee-pee like a little girl. I'll BRB. I'll be right back.
It's a weird way to put it, but yeah, I'll do some plugs really quick. Remember me and Michael Bisping this Monday night, October 7th, at the Comedy Store with my good friend Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband, Kill Tony. Go grab your tickets. It's going to sell out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, go to our YouTube channel right now. Get all the latest episodes available at your fingertips. All of our interviews are going to be archived on there as well, so if you guys are enjoying the interviews, you guys can just look up just the interviews as well. Please share the clips. Go to our iTunes, leave us a 5-star ranking and a positive review. This is very important, guys. This is how people discover the show. When they go to iTunes, they click on MMA, they click on the newest podcast, they click on sports, funny things, whatever. The more you guys review it, the more you guys share it, the more you guys give us 5 stars, the higher up we are on those charts, and then it enables people to discover the show. Thank you for everyone that has been coming out to the stand-up comedy shows, because a lot of Believe You Me fans come up to me and be like, dude, I love the show. Don't be shy about that. Let me tell you something. Me and Michael Bisping, we are narcissists, okay? We want the accolades. In fact, if I'm ever out with a woman, okay, and you see me walking down the street and you know who I am, come up to me and make me look cool in front of that woman. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to bother him. You're not bothering me. You're making me look like the fucking man, okay? Last but not least, obviously, every episode we've ever done, pre-release, uncensored, and ad-free, available on Gas Digital Network. Use that promo code BYM for a 14-day free trial. And new t-shirt coming out. Bisping, I love that t-shirt. We're going to do it as a pre-release limited edition run. We'll talk a little bit later, but watch out in the next week or two, guys. We're going to be having a brand new t-shirt that you can only get for a very limited amount of time. Really cool design by one of the fans that he sent it in.
I know we spoke about this several times on the podcast, but I'm still yet to receive my t-shirts. Still yet to receive.
Every time. And this is on record. So he can't fucking say, like, we have this argument every time. And then I say, hey, Mike, just shoot me an email with what you want, what sizes, with your address, and then I'll forward it to...
We went through it. We went through it.
Where's the email?
The sizes... We went through it, the sizes. It was, and there's even an email or text on there. We went through the sizes, and I said, "Yeah, throw in a small for my wife." We've been through this, doggy. Been through this. Still waiting. Hold it's
on.
okay.
I'm doing it right
Don't worry
now.
about it.
Let me give your...
No, you don't need to do it right now. I do want to just quickly touch on the fact, we're talking about retired fighters and fighters coming back. I'm just looking in the notes here. Obviously, BJ Penn just recently got released from the UFC. So, I mean, listen, there's if you want to use the word legend, I mean, that really applies to BJ Penn. Had an amazing career. UFC have let him go. I mean, listen, he lost his last few fights, and then, of course, he was involved in a bit of controversy recently. So UFC let him go. I wish him all the best. Love BJ Penn. Great person. Amazing fighter. Also, former fighter, Vanderlei Silva. He's back. He's joined the ranks of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships.
Yeah.
Vanderlei Silva still going strong. Well, I wouldn't say going strong. I mean, Vanderlei Silva, I mean, what do you think of this? I mean, listen, Vanderlei back in the day was a legend, right? He brought us many, many exciting fights. But I'm sorry, I can't help but think of him as a bit of a tit, you know? He's just a bit of a tit. He ran away from USADA. He just fell from grace. He was the man in Pride. He was a total thug, but he was exciting as hell to watch. And I don't know, the last few years, he just fell from grace.
Dude, his fucking stare downs were the best. He that dude that like do all this shit and he'd fucking just stare you down in the face. It was really terrifying. Great nickname, the Axe Murderer. I mean, come on. How violent and terrifying is that? I mean, holy shit. But yeah, dude, it happened with a lot of guys. It was a weird thing. When the UFC sort of took over and they bought out all of the major competition, certain guys, you know, they sort of rose to the competition, and certain guys were sort of exposed as, you know, not being or maybe as good as we had thought they were. Vanderlei was, I think, one of those guys. And by the way, he had great fights in the UFC too. Vanderlei was great, but it was like he was supposed to come in. What?
No, go on. I was just going to say Hell's Bells. I'm looking at his record on Wikipedia. Jeez Louise, so many reds. Red signify losses, green signify wins. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to let you finish your point. But my God, listen, the guy's a legend of the sport. It was one of the guys that inspired me. When I first started watching Pride back in the day, I saw him fight and I was immediately drawn to him. As you said, Axe Murderer, great nickname. The way he'd stare down, he'd hype the fights, all that. Yeah, great. And then the way he performed was legendary. But I'm just looking at his career here. I mean, he had a very, very good career. And then, see all the reds at the end? My God. Crow Cop, lost. Dan Henderson, lost. Knockout. Chuck Liddell, lost. Beat Keith Jardine. Quinton Jackson, lost. Rich Franklin, lost. Michael Bisping, win. That was a very, very controversial decision, let me tell you. Then he got knocked out against Chris Lieben. Then he beat Kung Lee. Got stopped against Rich Franklin, beat Brian Stan, lost to Chael Sonnen, and then it was last year, pardon me, he fought Quinton Jackson, got knocked out there. I think that was at heavyweight. Yeah, it was at heavyweight. Well, listen, I mean, you can't deny the guy. The guy, listen, I was never a big fan of him personally from when we fought. He was kind of a dick towards me, and I was kind of a dick to him, so whatever. Not the biggest fan personally, but you can't talk about Vanderlei Silva without, having holding him in a certain regard. The guy's a legend of the sport. I mean, he's one of the guys that helped build this sport.
I believe when he started fighting, like in Brazil, it was bare knuckle. I think that I'm pretty sure you can just see Vanderlei Silva fighting in bare knuckle MMA fights like that exists on the internet right now. He's been fighting for that long. And so it's not that crazy. To be honest with you, bare knuckle boxing is less dangerous than bare knuckle MMA.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I guess.
Say that again. Bare knuckle boxing is less dangerous than bare knuckle MMA.
It's all the same shit. Well,
that's no.
It's not. No, you're right. You're right. Fine. I take it back.
MMA is safer than boxing.
Fine.
Bare knuckle MMA is safer than bare knuckle boxing.
Fine. I already said fine. I already did the math. We got there. I already said you're right. I'm dumb. I made a dumb statement. But it's not that crazy. I don't think anybody who's been willing to do bare knuckle MMA is going to go like, oh my God, bare knuckle boxing. It's, for all intents and purposes, you're being punched in the face with bare knuckles.
Yeah. Listen, either way, it's not good. It's not good. Whether you get punched with the bare knuckle, you get punched with a glove, a 16-ounce glove. Depending on who's throwing that punch, Lewis, it's not good. Now, if you were throwing it, then it wouldn't be too bad.
Baby
you know
boy,
what I mean? But
I got some fucking killer. I got some heat behind these fucking hands.
Oh, I know. I've seen it. Ryan O'Neal was able to take one square in the chin and stay on his feet. But still, that guy's got a tremendous chin. He's a tough customer, very tough cookie.
Dude, hindsight is 20/20. If I had the chance to go back, I would have fucking ended him in the first round.
Why are you going to talk shit about my eyes? You know what I mean? Hindsight's 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, we get it, Michael. You can't see. Jesus Christ, Lewis.
All right,
Have a
all right.
heart for crying out loud.
The show's about over. All we got to do is cross the T's and dot the lowercase J's.
Jesus Christ.
What movie? What movie?
What are we doing?
What was the movie?
I don't know. What was the movie? Hold on. Wayne's World.
There you go. When they were signing the contract
Wayne's
for the Woodstock thing they were doing.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Because the guy had like a cross eye. It was so funny.
Hey,
real quick.
do you know what? Hold on. Just staying on Wayne's World real fast. Alice Cooper. He's in Wayne. Is it the Woodstock episode, right?
Milwaukee.
Or the Woodstock one. Milwaukee. Yeah. I didn't really listen to a lot of rock music when I was younger. I was all about dance music. And I was in a hotel in London once, and Alice Cooper, one of his roadies, whatever, was in the hotel and came over to him. He's like, "Oh my God, huge fan. I'm here with Alice Cooper. Do you want to meet him?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" But I thought he might be at the bar or something, right? And he took me in the elevator up to his room. And I only know Alice Cooper from Wayne's World. Do you know what I mean? I had to go into his room, and he's sitting in this gigantic hotel suite, and the guy's like there, and he was so nice. He was really cool, but I don't really think he was that much of an MMA fan. I think it was more his roadie was kind of like impressed. Do you know what I mean? So he went in there. We had the most awkward conversation because I couldn't talk about music to him. I couldn't talk about anything. I just said, "Oh man, loved you in Wayne's World." That was about all I had to say to him. I felt like such a fucking moron.
What are some good Alice Cooper songs? There's "Hey Stupid." Remember that one? "School's Out for Summer."
Oh, yeah. A nice guy, though. Very, very, just an absolute gentleman, if I'm honest. There you go. There's my Alice Cooper story. What do you want to do? We got any questions?
We do, but I wanted to bring this up just because this was very funny. You fell for a notorious MMA Twitter troll. Thank you. It's a breaking news. The breaking news sound effect.
Well, hold on. If only Harrington could go to as much effort with the rest of the show, because he put this in the notes. Bisping trolled by, I don't know who it is. I wasn't trolled. I saw a tweet online.
MMA Insider.
Break it down. Set it up. Set it up, Lewis. Set it up.
Pull up the MMA Insider account. I don't even know what this account is, so I might have been trolled too, but Bisping, you're supposed to know better, okay? This account, apparently, they just troll people and write fake news regarding MMA, and he said, okay, so this is what happened. He changed his display title to Errol Hawani, and then he tweeted that Masvidal was forced to pull out of the Diaz fight. I guess he had written that it was Errol Hawani. So you fell for it. And then you started asking people on Twitter, you're like, "Hey, I just heard that Masvidal's out of the fight," and then everyone proceeded to just call you an idiot.
No, I wasn't trolled at all. I saw that tweet. I scrolled by it, didn't pay much mind, but then I was like, "Hold on a minute. Did I just see that Masvidal is out with an injury?" So, being the MMA aficionado that I am, I then took to Twitter. I reached out to my followers. Hey, I just saw a rumor that Masvidal's out. It's probably bullshit, but has anybody got any info on this? Please explain how and where I was made to look a fool, where I got trolled. No, I saw some bullshit. So I just saw on Twitter Masvidal's out of the Diaz fight. I'm assuming it's trolling and utter bullshit. Anyone got any info? Go ahead, Lewis. The floor's yours. I look such an idiot. Ooh, Harrington, good one, buddy. I asked for clarification. After saying, I'm assuming it's trolling and utter bullshit, anybody got any info? But yeah, that was a real hard burn that time. You really
I agree with you.
Good.
I'm with you. I said to Harrington, I was like, that's too much. Mike Bisping is not gullible, and he doesn't fall for shit, dude. He was trolling the trolls. So I didn't even want to bring the subject up.
Harrington, explain yourself. What have you got? Harrington, come on.
Well, I'm going off of all the Ryan Gosling laughing gifs that I see underneath the question asking. So I thought maybe you might have gotten trolled a little bit. My mistake, Michael.
Well, just pay attention to things that require your attention. I mean, I said in the tweet, it's trolling, probably utter bullshit, but does anyone have any info?
Wow.
You can't, somebody changes their name to Ariel Hawani. They're going to that amount of effort, I'm just fact checking, Harrington, just like you do.
I will tell you, I've never seen someone get more excited than MMA Insider just retweeting everybody's reaction to you reacting to it. He was like you look like Tom Cruise in Risky Business, just dancing around the house, so excited that he got you.
Yeah.
I've never seen Risky Business. What is this?
You've seen Risky Business? You know, where he slides across the floor in his underwear and a white shirt and sunglasses?
Never. I've heard that music, but no, I've never seen it. Never seen it, never heard of it. Anyway, good talk. Do we have any questions?
We do. Yeah, I'm sure we do. How many questions do we have? If you guys want to join the conversation, please shoot us an email, bympod@gmail.com. Video questions, we love them. Audio questions, we love them. Fan art, we fucking love the fan art. So please keep on sending it in. All of the positive feedback. It literally couldn't be any more positive. We love you guys. Probably the most supportive podcasting community that I've seen. I'm on a lot of podcasts, and I know that the way people talk shit on the internet, and you guys are just awesome. So thank you very much for being on our corner.
Agreed.
And we'll get a few questions in here. Let's see. What do we got?
Just real fast before we do the first question, it's point number 13 in the notes. And, I can't pretend I'm overly familiar with her, but I feel like just as a sign of respect, we're going to give her a mention. Bellator veteran, MMA veteran, Katie Collins died at the age of 32. She last competed in 2018. Unfortunately, Collins suffered a brain aneurysm on the 20th of September. And passed away 6 days later. I think she has 1 or 2 children as well. There's a GoFundMe out there as well.
So sad.
I think I tweeted a link to it. So fucking sad. So just absolute best wishes to the family. And it really is terrible. Really is terrible. And that was a super depressing moment. But I just thought, out of respect, we should mention a fellow mixed martial artist. All right, what have we got? Question 1.
Great timing, Mike. Now I'm all bummed out.
I know, I feel terrible, but I just saw it and I just thought, I've got to mention it. I've got to give, you know what I mean? It's the least we can do, just a remembrance, just a little shout out.
Could have done it early in the show and then recovered and got back into the groove. But now it's just like everyone's like, all right, well, now I got to go be sad for the rest of the day.
Well, I'm very sorry. I've got another one for you here. I've got a guy. I've got another one for you. Listen, it's a really sad day. A guy I know went out to Ibiza. And he got mugged trying to get cash out the ATM and was in a coma
Ibiza?
for the longest time. Now he's Ibiza. Yeah. No, Ibiza. Yeah. So, it's a dangerous world out there, people. Just be careful. Question 1. What have we got?
Before we even get into that, I just want to just take a moment for everyone to remember the long, hard struggle my mom fought with cancer. It was pretty brutal for everyone involved. And, just overall... we lost her. She fought the good fight. But anyway, all right, keeping things nice and light.
Hold on, just real fast. When I was a kid, I knew this person. And, I think he died. It was a car crash. I've got no details on him. He lived at the end of the street. He was a bit of a weirdo. He invited me to his house a couple of times, offered me sweets to go in. But, he died in a car crash. Just thought I'd give him a shout out. What else you got, Lewis?
Were you raped as a child? And did you admit that just now on the show? That is the fucking best way to admit that you were molested by your neighbor when you were a kid.
Stop reading between the lines and just do the first question, Lewis, please.
All right, who do we got here, boys?
Well, first and foremost, guys, that's GoFundMe.com/F/Katie-Collins-Medical-Expenses. And
don't mumble it if you're going to actually give the URL, Harrington.
I thought I gave that very clearly.
Say it with a little more umph. Have some confidence.
GoFundMe.com/F/Katie-Collins-Medical-Expenses.
Well, we're going to make a donation right now in the name of the Believe You Me podcast as well. And do me a favor, Harrington, tweet out that link. If you guys are a fan of the show, go do that. Go support her family. She got fucking kids, dude. Imagine that. The worst thing in the world, you losing your mom. I know because I personally went through that. But, anyone else, you guys can only imagine how sad that would be. So, first question, who's it by?
It is from Ricky, and he wants to know about some of your English fans on Reddit.
Now, lads, quick question for Michael. Did you know that there was a group of people on the Mixed Martial Arts Underground, the MMA forum, called the UK Top Team, that basically used to ride or die for you and always have your back when people were talking about you on the website and add your had your face and the UK flag as our background on the avatars. And there was also a team on there of people that didn't like you so much called the AUGL, something anti-UK top team, Justice League, Bisping haters, wherever they were. Yeah, did you know there was a group that was on there for years and years, still to this day, had your back, bigged you up, followed all your career, and we used to like meet at all the UK events and go and watch your fights and things like that. Just wondering if you were aware of it, and if you were, awesome. If you weren't, educate yourself.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, Ricky, got a little aggressive there at the end. Educate yourself. Thank you for the question, Ricky. Yeah, no, I am aware. I am aware of the UK top team. They used to fly the flag for me and Britain and defend me relentlessly. They really did. And in fact, there was one guy on there, I think his name was Exploding Boy, something like that. They'll probably know what I'm talking about. And they used to defend me, but they used to take it a little bit too far. I mean, listen, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? But, you know, I did lose some fights, you know, but they would defend me with all of their honor, maybe a little too much honor. Listen, underground forums or forums in general are just a swamp of negativity. They really are. They're a swamp of negativity, but those guys had my back and the majority of the UK fighters as well. So thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for defending me over the years. I do appreciate it.
And yeah, if anybody's out there hating on us, if you see somebody hating on this show in person, whatever object is closest to you, take it and slam it into their fucking head. You don't let them disrespect the Believe You Me podcast, okay? This is the fucking #1 MMA podcast in the world. And if you see anybody smiting our name, you take it up with them physically.
Well, it would have been the #1 podcast. I mean, we were going to have 3 fucking guests on this episode, you know, but it all fell by the wayside. It all went wrong. It all just dissolved right before our eyes. But we still got Jared Cannonier. And he actually suggested stoning Harrington, which I thought was a step too far. But who am I to argue with the great Jared Cannonier?
Next question.
All right, this is from Jeffrey.
Yo, what's up, Michael Bisping, Luigi Gomez, and Mike Harrington? Thanks for the show. It's amazing. I'm a security guard from Belgium. It's awesome to listen and laugh while I'm working in the night shift. I have a question for Michael Bisping. Do you think Ryan Hall could be a #1 contender if he would fight a bit more with his special set of skills? And a question for Lewis. Have you ever been booed off stage? I mean, it happens a lot in the UFC or in football where people get booed. But in a comedy show, does it happen as well? I mean, with you, since you're that funny. And a question for Mike Harrington. What do you think about the fight between Masvidal and Diaz? What are you going to bet? And also, what's the BYM coin standing at the moment? I know Michael Bisping and Luis Gomez are really behind. I hope you get your goal, mate. Cheers.
Well, what a nice question. Very, very well delivered. I feel it was the middle of the night. I think he was at work there. He was dressed like a security guard. There was no one around. He was on the job sending in video questions. But thank you for your kind comments. Lewis, I'll let you start. Have you ever been booed off stage or came even remotely close?
Booed off stage, no. Typically, comedy clubs, they never allow it to be the point where you're getting booed off stage. It has to be a pretty unruly environment, and comedy clubs sort of police themselves. So if somebody boos, that's like a heckler. They're going to be told that they'll be ejected before it kind of gets to that. The closest I've ever been to being booed off stage was my first time I did a headlining tour. I didn't even have 45 minutes of material yet, and I did a show, and I had no following yet. It was like literally just me going out and getting whatever rooms I can get. So one of the rooms that I headlined, it was in Tacoma, Washington, and it was a heavily like urban crowd. It was 90% black people, 10% Hispanic. There was like one white person in the crowd. And at the time, especially, I still do a lot of gay shit in my act where I talk about like being gay, and I think that it's like, you know, that's just something that it's a recurring theme in my act. And people in fucking urban communities don't play that shit. They don't think it's funny. There's nothing funny about like, they're just like, and I was just bombing, dude. I'm like, every joke I told, it just got deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where I'm like 25 minutes in, and I remember in the front row, there was a big black woman. She goes. She's all silent. I told the joke, complete silence. She goes, "Bring the host back on, motherfucker." And everyone laughed at her. And then I had to just sit there and just take it. It was awful, dude. It was so bad. That is the worst feeling in the world. Bombing Because you can bomb for 10 minutes is a different thing. Bombing for 45 minutes straight and you're just not getting laughs, you're watching the clock, it's a fucking nightmare.
And of course, well, listen, I'm assuming most comedians, if they put themselves in that environment, they want to be comedians, right? They're not going up there for a laugh, pardon the pun. They're going up there because they're trying to, they're trying to carve out a career in the comedy world.
Right.
So it means a lot to them as well. You know what I mean? They're not up there on a whim, messing around. The friends have said, hey, maybe it's an open mic night and the friends told them into jumping on the microphone. Because if you get bombed, then I'm assuming you don't give a fuck. You're like, so what? I'm just having a laugh. But if you're actually trying to make a career out of becoming a stand-up comedian and then you go on there and everyone's just giving you shit, I'm assuming that's a pretty shitty feeling.
Think about this. Anybody can relate to this. Remember the one time you told the joke to your friends and nobody laughed? And that awkward feeling, like just that uncomfortable. Imagine there's 200 people watching you in a room. That exact moment where everyone's expecting to laugh, it is brutal. But by the time you get to a place where you're headlining and you're doing an hour of material, typically you're sort of used to every shitty situation already. And you can sort of learn how to bomb as well. You could have a not good set and people that are enjoying it are still enjoying it.
Do you know what just occurred to me? Guess what MMA fighter is performing stand-up comedy tonight in Los Angeles?
Guess. Just any guess?
Is
it somebody that we know?
Question.
Is it somebody that we know does stand-up comedy?
No. I had no idea. I'll break the suspense. Ian McCall, Uncle Creepy. You know who that is, right?
I do. I know he has a podcast. Yeah. Did not know that he had jumped into the stand-up game.
Yeah, because Adam Hunter, our good friend Adam Hunter, what's his MMA Roasted on Twitter. He does the Dime Bar in LA. I came to watch you there before. Very funny guy, but he put the advertisement on Instagram tonight. Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall, performing as a stand-up comic tonight, which I kind of want to go and watch. I'm not going to because I'm a busy man, but there's a little part of me. Anytime a mixed martial artist is going to do stand-up comedy, I kind of want to go and see it. And if I'm honest, just to see how bad it is, or on the flip side, be pleasantly surprised and say that was awesome. But there is a little something about seeing one of your former colleagues standing up there trying to tell jokes and just doing terrible.
Can you name any former MMA fighters that do bad comedy?
I have no idea. Well, Michael Bisping for one. I don't do bad comedy, but sometimes the podcast does veer off track. Lewis, go fuck yourself.
All right. So what did he ask you? What was his question? About Ryan Hall. Could he ever be a champion if he was more active? 8-1 fighter in the 145-pound division.
Yeah, so here's the thing, Ryan Hall. I mean, if anybody's not familiar with him, Ryan Hall, the wizard, trained by Kenny Florian. When you look at him, he doesn't really seem all that, but his performances lately are fantastic. Of course, he's a ground game guy, right? He's got a very, very excellent ground game. Submitted BJ Penn very quickly with a heel hook. But he has one of those old school styles. He spends a lot of time led on his back, butt scooting, looking for heel hooks and leg locks, doing Iminari rolls. But I tell you, somebody like that, it's a very tricky style. Now, what he's doing, he's added a fantastic kicking game to his arsenal. I mean, he fought Darren Elkins recently. It was a decision that he won by. But again, I thought Darren Elkins would give him a lot of problems. He beat Darren Elkins pretty easily, beat BJ Penn, beat Gray Maynard, prior to that, Artem Lobov. So he's on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC, so he's doing very, very well. And it just goes to show, the stereotypical image of a fighter that people, immediately think of in their head. They might think of Wanderlei Silva. They might think of Andrei Arlovsky. But, like a big, ripped dude, a guy that looks mean and intimidating and, necessarily not the nicest person. Ryan Hall, I mean, my God, he's the biggest nerd-looking guy there is. But he's a fucking beast inside the octagon.
If Ryan Hall looked at me sideways in a bar, I'd be like, Bisping, hold on. I got to go beat up this little guy and 3 of his best friends.
Yeah, you would say, right, here's an opportunity for me to make myself feel better about myself, to show off in front of everybody. And I'm going to say, hold on a minute. That guy just kind of bumped into me a little bit. You'd be like, hey, listen, dickhead. Watch where you're going.
Little Fry. I just get really condescending about his height.
listen, you nerd, leave me alone. And then before you know it, he could kick you in the head and knock you out, or he could Imanari roll, snap your ankle, he'd choke you out, do whatever. It just goes to show, I mean, this has been spoken about many, many times, but in this day and age, you really don't know who you're messing with. You know, when it comes to combat sports, jiu-jitsu, a lot of people, if you go into a jiu-jitsu room, because jiu-jitsu is very difficult. It's very, very technical. So to understand jiu-jitsu, to get good at jiu-jitsu, there has to be a level of intelligence. So, a lot of, I don't mean nerds, but we'll just say that, but a lot of nerdier people do gravitate towards jiu-jitsu because it is very therapeutic. It is physical chess. There is a lot of brain power goes into it.
Yeah, because I watched my son in his jiu-jitsu class because he's getting really good now. And I saw you were training with Lucas as well recently, which I'm sure makes you very happy. He seems to be taking a little bit more to martial arts now, which is pretty cool. But my son is not an aggressive kid at all, and he's stronger. My son is stronger than he's 6.5. It's supposed to be a 7 and up class. They let him go into the class. All the kids are like 8 and 9. And every time I'm like, James, just get on top of him. Just get on top. And if he just focuses on that, he does it every time because he's just physically like stronger than the kids, but he's not super aggressive. So he'll like let them get on top of him. And you could just see him thinking, and it's very like cerebral. And I think especially for a kid, them working through the mental math that it takes to sort of do that type of sport at that early of an age, I think it's going to go a very, very long way. It's very similar to playing piano or just sort of figuring it out. It takes so much brain power, as much brain power as it does physical power. So I think it's really, really interesting to watch, and I see it happening with my son, and I'm really happy to have him in it.
Yeah, no, jiu-jitsu is a great thing to put your children in, or anybody in. Certainly daughters. I speak to my teenage daughter all the time, Ellie. I'm like, Ellie, please. I know she's not going to, but I would love her to learn jiu-jitsu. But you got to be good at jiu-jitsu. Obviously, in jiu-jitsu, you want your opponent to be in your guard, which is where if a man was trying to rape a woman, sorry to be blunt, that's where they want to be. They want to be in between your legs. Now, that doesn't mean you can go do 2 or 3 jiu-jitsu lessons and go, okay, great. If somebody tries to rape me, I know how to do a triangle. No, you got to do jiu-jitsu for a long, long time for it to be effective in a real-life combat situation. But even still,
you better pray to God that rapist doesn't know jiu-jitsu, because it's over.
Oh, baby. For sure.
Baby girl, it's over. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about that. Jiu-jitsu is becoming very, very popular. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm just going to say this now. If you're an aspiring rapist, go out there and learn jiu-jitsu, okay?
You will be able to get past anybody's guard.
But you don't want to get past the guard.
Oh, no, you want to get into the guard.
Yeah, but still, that was very low taste. Yeah. All right, do we have any more questions? Oh, Harrington had a question. Would you like to answer, Harrington?
Well, not any other week but this one, as all my BYM coin reserves have gone by the wayside.
Oh, wait, what? You lost all your money?
Whoa, stop. Why didn't we open the show with this? You have no BYM coin.
UFC Copenhagen was very cruel to me.
You bet it all?
I needed to get to 10,000 in 6 events, Lewis.
You didn't even save $1.
Not $1.
Wow, and you lost everything.
I lost 11 bets.
So where are we at now? Where are we standing with the BIM coin?
Well, Bisping's at 55. You're at like 87.5, and I'm at 0.
That's right, you fucking pussy bitches.
Relax.
Puerto Rican rattlesnake all day.
Hold on. But 50 of your BYM coins are Harrington's.
No, 50 of your BIM coins are Harrington's. So you only got like 5.
And 50 of yours.
Nope.
We begged for Harrington's BIM coin.
Nope. Not me. Right?
You did.
In fact, you have to give Harrington back his 50 BIM coin. You only have 5. You're in debt to Harrington.
So I'm back in the game.
Harrington, you can take the 50 BIM coin. But what about Lewis? Lewis took some of yours as well.
No, I didn't.
He was out that episode.
All right.
Did not take any of his BIM coin. I don't take other handouts from other men. I've worked
very convenient, Lewis.
Too goddamn hard to get where I'm at to take a handout from another man. Think I'm taking free BIM coin from Mike Harrington over my dad? I'd literally rather kill myself than have Harrington even give me fake money. To be in debt to Harrington for fake fantasy money, I would rather be real dead.
So what do I have now? If I give you the 50, I have now what? 30? 35 BIM coin or something?
You got 5 BIM coin.
Nice. Nice. 5 Bimcoin. Fucking rolling deep. Rolling deep, boys. All right. We got one more question, or should we call it?
Do we get a good one?
This is a good one.
Okay, cool. And also this weekend we will be doing another show. A little bit later in the week, and we'll be betting the remainder of our Bimcoin apparently on this weekend's fights. But one final question.
We're going to do another show tomorrow or Thursday, breaking down the big fight this weekend. Very much looking forward to that one. So stay tuned for that. Technical analysis of the biggest fight of the year, perhaps. But go on. Final question.
All right. This is Colby in Kentucky.
Hey, guys. This is Colby coming at you from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky and the famous city of Corbin, home of KFC. Shout out to Louis J. Gomez. I know you love that fried chicken, boy.
I do love it.
Anyways, my question concerns Israel Adesanya. I just want to know if you all think all of the hype that surrounds him is well deserved. I know his last few wins
Pause it.
have came from guys like Derek Brunson.
It's just very funny. Like, it just sounds like he's racist. He's like, what do y'all think about Israel Adesanya? Because, for a blast.
He's like, y'all don't seem to realize, but around these parts here, we don't let them get on TV and do that jive turkey stuff, Oh my God, with the Reagan poster in the background.
Yeah, dude, he looks like he's a fucking straight up incel fucking, Trump supporting right winger. I don't have a problem with the guy. I love all of our fans, but he does sound like he's holding back from using some choice racial slurs right now. So please, let's just be careful. We have to if he says anything crazy, please drop it out, okay? Go ahead, finish.
Press play.
Gatekeeper Anderson Silva out of his prime.
Another black.
Gaston, tough guy, but
Mexican,
maybe not the best striker.
But a beaner.
Yeah, that was a lucky shot he landed on you. Anyways,
correct there.
I want to jump on that hype.
So what I'm saying is, do you think there are too many brown people in the UFC?
Press play. I want to hear where he's gonna go.
Jump on that hype train. We're thinking about throwing that checkbook at him this weekend in the gambling book. And I want your all's opinion if I should do that or not. And I know by the time this video is over, you all have probably made fun of Kentucky and my accent.
Oh, yeah.
That's well deserved. Love the show. Keep it going, guys.
White power.
Well, see here.
All right.
White power. Hey, by the way, you can't do this anymore. That's a hate sign. That's a hate sign.
Screenshot right now. Michael Bisping, Louis J. Gomez.
Fucking hate speech. White power. I shouldn't even joke about that. It's so funny because people know they're going to get roasted. What did he ask? I didn't actually catch the question.
Should he put money on Israel Adesanya this weekend, or is it just hype?
Well, we thank you for the question, but we're going to get into that on the next show, so we will not preemptively let the cat out the bag, so to speak. It's a great fight, though. It's a fantastic fight. But thanks for the question. And I apologize for Lewis just, insinuating that you're dumb, insinuating that you're racist. These aren't nice things to do, Lewis. But if the shoe fits, to be fair.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah. Wait, I missed your answer to him. Did you tell him to bet money on Israel?
No. I said we'll get into that on the next episode. I'm not going to preemptively let the cat out of said bag, because we just spoke about it before the question. We said we're going to talk about it on the next show. Then Harrington plays a question asking us to basically contradict what I just said. And he prefaced it with, this is a good one. Had he been listening to what I said prior to that, he would have known it wasn't a suitable question to play.
Guys, to be fair, I didn't listen to a word he said. I just wanted to hear you do the Kentucky voice.
It's a very good point.
I like that accent.
Do you?
I think it's a very solid accent. I don't think it sounds retarded at all. I think that he sounds like a really nice, swell individual.
That is the worst Southern accent I've ever heard in my life. Literally, that might be the worst thing I've ever heard, ever attempted. Just if we consider any attempt at anything, that's maybe the worst.
Well, go on, give me yours.
All right. Well, I'm from Southern Kentucky. Gotta get in my pickup truck.
Terrible.
It's fucking great. What are you talking about? I sound like I'm from Kentucky.
I'm not even from Kentucky. I'm not from America. I've never been to Kentucky, but check this out. All right, my name's Michael. I'm from Kentucky. And I can do a Southern accent better than you can, Lewis. That's right. I said that, baby boy. So what the fuck y'all gonna do? Huh?
You literally just
Oh,
sound like
me?
a mentally handicapped person.
Well, that's how they sound. I sound like that fucking Sarah Huckabee from fucking Trump.
Yeah,
Sarah
y'all.
Sanders.
I don't know.
Go-
No,
go on,
Colonel
give me some more.
Sanders. You're thinking of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the Trump's speech woman. That's what I sounded like there. But okay, so we sound like fucking morons right now. This is good. This is really good.
We learned to not do improv games at the end of our shows from now on. That's fine.
Oh my God. Give us a good accent, Lewis. Give us a good accent to sign off on.
All right,
What can you do?
What do we want to do? Chinese, obviously, yeah.
No.
Why is
You
Chinese?
can't
You can make fun of
I know,
Chinese
I
people.
know.
I'm sick of this shit.
I was going to say, why can't you do a Chinese accent? You can do a French accent. Oui, because Louis, for this segment of the podcast, we are now going to do a French accent. And that's fine.
That's great.
But if we were to get the Bispings on, that'd be deemed racist. What is going on in the world?
Oh, Mr. Bisping. Oh, you make me fry rice.
Now you're going off the deep end.
What?
There's nothing wrong with talking about people that talk like this.
But it's so true. But it's not racist. It's literally being inclusive. So if we were going down a list of accents to do, we could do French, we could do Southern, we could do Creole, we could do everything. But then if you do a Chinese accent, that's all of a sudden racist. It's stupid. It's inclusive. We fuck around with everybody. Do a Mexican.
Yeah,
go.
no, I totally. Oh fuck, do a Mexican. Hey, Holmes.
There you go.
Shit, that's racist. No, I can't do a Mexican accent. I can't do it. You do a Puerto Rican, Lewis. How about that?
Hi, my name is Louis J. Gomez, and yeah.
Why are you talking like you're a radio announcer?
I am.
Money.
That's what I fucking do.
Jay. No, you fuck around on a podcast, but you don't have the smooth voice that you just said.
I've gone on and not nailed any voiceover auditions, but they send me out sometimes.
Do you go for voiceover auditions?
I used to go for more. I don't do anything anymore. I'm just, I just do my own shit. But they send me for, just like radio spots.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Believe You Me
okay.
podcast here on the Gas Digital Network. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh shit. No, we're digitizing. We're going to do that one again. Send it back. Technical difficulty. All right. We've waffled bullshit for long enough. All right. The next show, though, big fight this weekend. I can't wait for it. I'm having a bit of a get-together, bit of a soiree at my house. Nice big fight. Whittaker Adesanya. Stacked undercard. We'll break down the fights. We'll give our picks. We'll get into it. We'll even put down a few BIM coin on Wednesday or Thursday. But until then, look after yourself. Have a good week.
Let me also say I apologize, Mike. I forgot to plug this. I'll be in Orlando this weekend. So any BYM fans that are out in Orlando Improv with Big J. Okerson, who's one of the funniest comics in the world. So come out and say what's up, which we've been getting every show now. I have people coming up to me at the end of the show being like, dude, love Believe You Me. Like just unprompted, like they're not like comedy fans like that, just randomly happen to be in the crowd and they, it's pretty cool.
Maybe not this episode, though. This episode was all over the place. This episode was terrible. You always say this, no, Mike, you're wrong. It was good. I'm like, no, this one was fucking diabolical. It was
literally
all over the place.
one of the best episodes we've done in months. And I'm not even lying about this.
Everyone
Everyone in the booth is shaking their head. Everyone listening right now is going, yeah, Mike, that episode was fucking awesome. He gets in his head. Whatever it is, he gets in his head. And then I've been working with him long enough, everyone. Don't worry. He's fine. He's fine.
No, I am fine. But listen, it was an off episode. It was definitely not the best. We didn't know where we were going. We had some technical difficulties. We were all over the place. Our pets' heads were falling off, but we did it, baby boy. We got there in the end.
There was episodes where your dog was jizzing on the floor the whole episode, and you love those episodes. But we had a good conversation.
A good episode.
Great.
Listen, you're gonna appreciate a bit of dog jizz here and there.
Great interview with Jared Cannonier. Thank you one more time, Jared Cannonier. Go follow him on all social media and let him know Believe You Me sent you there. We'll be back probably Thursday, maybe Friday morning. We'll see.
Yeah. The Killer Gorilla, I believe, on Twitter and Instagram. Killer Gorilla. Give him a follow. Great guy. Jared, thanks for joining us, buddy. Much appreciated. And see you later in the week. Take care, guys.